Good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea, and I really need this sip. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers and what I was up to on Twitter this morning. Yes, I went to my feed. No, it's not for what you all think. I was not just checking my TL. I was talking once again and sharing information that comes from within the community in regards to this situation at the JRC. And in so doing, as so often happens, I passed on the video back from 2012 of what was done to Andre McCollins back in 2002. Now, I've been fighting this for 14 years. And to this day, every time I see that video, the reaction is the same. The horror, the disgust, the pain, the anger. Yeah. It doesn't get any easier no matter how many times I've seen it, no matter how many times I've shared it. I bring this up because I want you all to know what we're up against. We are up against some of the most corrupt, most inhuman, cruel human beings on the face of this earth. People who have managed to, with their money they make off our backs and our pain, buy their way into continuing the torture with impunity. Impunity, folks. Organizations that have gone up against them who do not have unlimited funds have been forced into either agreements, like the 1986 decree, or forced into settlements. I need to level with you about the level of corruption and darkness that we're up against. I try to keep things light here. I try to make fun of the absolute astronomical amount of stupid that makes up the whole idea of this school, but I gotta level with you here. If you think you've seen corruption, you think you've seen it with AH and ACLU, you don't know corruption yet. You read through these papers, you see what these bastards have gotten away with and how they've gotten away with it. Yeah. This is a whole new other level, folks. I want to level with you on this because it's not an easy fight. It's not a quick fix. Many of us have been fighting for more years than we care to remember. Majority of our adult lives. Hi, how you doing? Others have been fighting this place for 30, 40 years. Some have been fighting it since it opened its doors first out in California. Okay? The reason why I'm telling you what you're up against, the reason why I want you to understand this, is because I want you to understand and comprehend that, in my opinion, banning the device is not enough. These people managed to kill 6 students far before they started using the shock device. If you want to end the abuse at the Judge Rotenberg Center, then you need to end the Judge Rotenberg Center. This school needs closed down. Its methods condemned and made to be in violation of the law. Statutes and laws need to be put in place so that people like me, people like my friends who are ADHDers like Sydney, people with Downs and other disabilities and mental health issues never have to fear being sent to a place like this. All right, Now to the disclaimers. In the description box, folks, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill, folks. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case those bastards actually want to see through with their threat. We also have included the One Ozarks First article in regards to the Agape boarding school / Stone for Hope boarding school that's located out of Stockton, Missouri, Christian themed, of course, and also so-called taking in troubled male teens that has impending, hear me, impending. If you think the JRC's alone, not even close. They're just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been, like the JRC, substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services. And they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another, a doctor who still lives on the premises with full access to the boys, upon multiple, again, substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. We have a brand new attorney general too busy chasing after, thought crimes, apparently, to do his job properly or even get anyone any kind of update on this case, and a governor who's hyped up on a power trip from hell. Send help. So please read that article and share it on all your social media. We got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject. A link to Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet over shockable offenses. A clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002. The templates and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision is very obviously advised, all right? All right. Trigger warning. We are about to once again descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You are going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, pseudoscience, lies, so many lies. Enough ableism and bigotry to circle the globe a few thousand times, all coming from the mouth of a doctor whose God complex has gotten way beyond out of control. So just be prepared for that, all right? Okay, now same as yesterday, we're going to try to keep these short and sweet, all right? My new TV has now been adapted so I can use my Wii. I'm going to need to get my Donkey Kong Kingdom on so I can, try to distress from watching that. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Before we do a brief review, if you remember in the last two videos, we have Dr. Matthew Israel trying to use Title III protections under the ADA in order to say that his device is an assistive device. We've also gone into explicit details as to why he's full of shit. The aids and the assistive devices that are mentioned under Title III has to do with mobility. okay? He uses mental illness like, yeah, it's my shock device. They should be able to has it. Doctor, would you like to know what else they're referring to when it regards Title III since it's been updated? Allow me to educate you. That is in reference to things such as emotional support animals, as well as the animals that help specifically with a physical disability. Okay? It's not a shock device made to torture us, okay? In case anyone's wondering. In fact, if you look at one of yesterday's videos, remember I'm front loading, we actually go over what Title III actually says. And it really has nothing to do with whatever argument he's trying to use here. So I just wanted to give you some context because God knows by the end of this video, I'm probably going to bang my head into the wall so I can maybe knock myself unconscious and forget I read such basic inhumane levels of cruel stupid. Whew. In order to comply with the dictates of Title III, a public accommodation such as JRC cannot discriminately deny an individual with a disability the service or benefits offered by a public accommodation because she or he has a disability. Are you on crack, doctor? Explain to me how the GED is a public accommodation. Does it help with mobility? No. Does it help get them access to grocery stores in spite of what everything Dr. Israel will tell you? No, it doesn't. Not at all. If you want to get down to the most physical, technical, medical terms, which I'm happy to do, doctor, it is a device that hampers mobility, not promotes it on the most physical, literal level possible. Explain to me how someone's going to get access to public areas when they are being shocked, their muscles seize up, and they can't do anything but twitch involuntarily and scream. Yeah. In addition, a public accommodation cannot deny an individual with a disability an equal opportunity to participate in or benefit from goods or services offered by a public accommodation based on his or her disability. Yet this is precisely what the MDRI submits should occur. The JRC offers unique services or benefits which include life-saving treatment with aversive interventions. Here the fuck we go again. No, doctor. Your device gets zero protections from Title III. Are you off your fucking nut? When they are talking about devices, they are very directly referencing things such as providing Braille for public transportation, being able to utilize assistive devices to help one communicate out there in the community, providing wheelchair ramps, both into and out of buildings, aisles that a wheelchair can easily get through. It has to do with ramps on public transportation, so people with that particular kind of physical disability are able to utilize public transit. Excuse me. That is what Title III is actually referring to. Okay? Nowhere at all. If you don't believe me, please go watch that video. Nowhere at all are aversive interventions mentioned. At all. At all. Like, but they don't understand. It would be if they know. No, they wouldn't, doctor. They're not entered for a very specific reason because no one in their fucking right goddamn mind would ever think that someone could be such an inhumane, cruel son of a bitch of a human being to actually make kids wear this fucking horrible device no matter where they go. Okay? We good? Good. It was in reference to actual assistive devices. You know, the very ones that you deny the kids in your school. When you force them to speak, when you force them to do whole sentences when a two-worded response would suffice. When you try to force individuals who talk who are nonverbal and shock them when they don't. Okay? That's what your device does. The devices that they're talking about are actually useful and do not in any way, shape, or form cause harm or pain or suffering to the individuals that utilize them. Okay? Your device does not qualify for Title III protections, bar none, period. It is a joke that you insist that it does. It's all based on your idea that we are just so goddamned awful, so crazy, so violent, and so out of control that you just yes to torture us for our own good. Last time I checked, I might not be the sanest woman in the world. I mean, for fuck's sake, I work in a call center. My sanity is hanging by the thread on the best of days. But I'm hardly going to go pick up one of my swords I've collected. Start running down the street and chopping off every head I see, okay? Alright? But that's what Dr. Matthew Israel wants you to believe. He wants you to believe that the individuals that come into his school are the most out of control kids in the entire world. And that if we don't leave these kids to him to be tortured and brainwashed into insanity, then that's what we're going to do. We're just going to grab that sword and start chopping off the head of everyone we see. It's bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. And I do love, Doctor, that you keep insisting it's life-saving. Here's my question. Whose life is it saving? Did it save Linda Cornelius's life? You know, when you made her endure 80,000 adversive punishments before you fucking realized, oh shit, she might actually be in pain, and sent her to the ER where she died. You made her last hours on Earth hell for an ulcer, something that even in the 80s, if you would have just fucking thought for 2 goddamn seconds, could have been treated and she could still be here with us today. But instead, you punished her for inappropriate noise and made her last hours here on Earth a living hell. So tell me, Doctor, how life-saving was this treatment for Linda Cornelius? What about the other 5 kids whose deaths you are directly fucking responsible for? Think they thought it was life-saving? Think their families do? How life-saving do you think Andre McCollum thinks your device is? You know, the boy you shocked into catatonia for a fucking solid month. What about Jennifer Masamba? What about all the others that have come out to make the world aware of your inhumane cruelty and monsters? You're a monster, Dr. Israel. You are the very definition of a fucking monster. Okay? Your devices aren't life-saving. They're torture devices. Okay? They wouldn't be out of place at Auschwitz. I'm sure they would have thought they were a good thing too. Your doctor's degree does not mean you are always right. And quit with the condescending shit. We all know you got your license yanked. You had no clinical experience whatsoever. You had a degree in research only. You had no fucking business setting this place up in the first place. All right. So what are we learning from this morning, folks, other than the doctor is a monstrous moron? This dude will use the most paper-thin excuses on the planet to defend the torture he puts these kids through. I mean, so paper-thin, the arrogance of this man. This is your response to the UN. Individuals who would have full access, particularly in 2010, to pull up what Title III actually covers in the ADA. And you're going to try and convince them that it's protected. The courts say it's okay. So it's not really torture because I'm a doctor and it's treatment. Not how any of it works, Karen. All right? Of all the insanity that we have read thus far, and we're still not even halfway through this is one of the dumbest, most paper-thin excuses I've seen. You cannot claim Title III protections over your fucking torture device, doctor. That is not what that statute is about. At all. At all. Your device does not qualify for Title III protection. Period. And to sit there and try to make me believe that I am an advocate for equal rights for people with disabilities. They have a right to use my device. Fuck all the way off. First off. All the way off. Exactly what rights are you actually respecting of your students, doctor? Because what I've seen with actual surveillance video footage, you don't respect any of them. We're going to go ahead and close out on this. I'm going to take a long drought of that because holy God. All right. I do appreciate your time, folks. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you for last video. Bye, everyone. Jesus Christ.